Hi, my name is Daniel Harris, and I'm just going to share my story with you today in hopes that it'll inspire you to get involved somehow. So, whether it's being a foster parent, being a social worker, or the Guardian Ad Litem program, I just really encourage you that if you're really thinking about taking that leap to get involved, because um, our youth really do need it, and it can be one of the most rewarding experiences you're ever going to have in your life. So to start out with, I grew up in Charleston, South Carolina. I grew up in a broken home. My mother and father both were in and out of jail growing up, and they were both addicted to drugs. And then on top of that, my father was an alcoholic, and when he would get drunk, he would beat my mother. And so after he passed away when I was in the fourth grade, and after my mother went to jail for credit card fraud, I was placed in the South Carolina foster care system. And so from ages 11 to 19 years old, I bounced around 11 foster homes and two group homes. Some of the most influential people I hold dear in my life, social workers, former foster parents, former foster youth that I met through the system. They're who I hold closest to me. But I have to say that the most influential woman I had was my guardian ad litem. She was with me from the day I entered foster care until I turned 18, and I pretty much aged out of being allowed to have one. And even then, when I turned 18, she took me in as a mentor. So I would go to her house on the weekends. Her two sons, who I consider my brothers, her husband's one of the most dear people I have in my life, and then of course she herself is who I consider my mother. And so she, after I signed out of foster care, she took me in, and when I went off to college, she's who I would go to her house during breaks, and then some weekends. And then she really helped me get through college. After college, she helped me transition into adulthood. So how to budget money, how to drive. She taught me how to drive, how to get a car, how to pay bills, how to just function as an adult. She was really that driving force. And while I was a knucklehead and pushed back and had to learn a lot of hard lessons on my own, she was always there for me. She continues to be there for me. And so after college, I bounced around a little bit, tried my hands some different jobs, and then eventually ended up getting a job as a child protective services social worker. I was an investigator for Dorchester County DSS for 2.5 years, and so it was a transition from being a former foster youth and having a guardian ad litem that I depended on, who I was really my rock. It was an interesting transition to now have one that I worked with on a daily basis, worked with multiple on a daily basis, and they go into court with them every day, working with these families. It was really impactful having them there with me, because what we want, what DSS wants, and what the Guardian want is, at the end of the day, the children that we have in our caseload, we want them to be safe, and we want them to be in a stable environment. And so I can't talk enough about the Guardian Ad Litem program and how necessary it is, how much it's needed. And I really encourage y'all, if you're thinking about taking that leap, please take a leap, because our children need it. And from experience, I can tell you, mine saved my life.